right. It just isn't right. But anyhow, folks, anything else anybody want to say before we get into the El Programa?
I didn't read about the teenagers, but I did notice that they were offering them a lot of the things that they took away on the big beautiful bill to people who would sign up to go into ICE, you know, offering them
Trinkets.
yeah, just a lot of things that they took away from other people.
Yep.
It is sad that and it works, especially when people are in dire straits, right? In other words, people are needing stuff right now, because even as Donald Trump doesn't want to acknowledge that the economy is in bad shape right now, the reality is, guess what? The economy is in bad shape right now, and he may not like the numbers, but that's just where we are today. So it is
Is
an
he building a
interesting thing. But
military?
anyhow, you know what? It's so funny. I'm glad you said that, Mayana, because our not military budget, our ICE budget is larger than every country except two.
Yeah.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Think about it. Our budget, not for our military budget is ridiculous. Over $1 trillion. Over $1 trillion to build bombs, to
Well, this
do
just
these other
shows
things.
that Donald Trump is willing to exploit teenagers now. Add that to
Yeah,
the list.
add that to the list. Exactly. Add that to the list. And folks, a lot of people think you're hyperventilating about these issues, but these are things that ultimately you have control you have control over. And I think we are at some point we're going to have to assert our authority here in the country, because the truth of the matter, this is, yes, our money that is being spent. But anyhow, getting started with the program, I want to thank the studio for going through those little connection issues we had earlier this morning. We are here in New Orleans, Louisiana, at the Netroots Nation 2025 convention, and this is actually the 20th year. Netroots Nation is a breakout of the most progressive blog. It started as a blog. It's now a blog, a news rag, you name it. It's what it is now. But the most progressive throughout the entire country. It is a place where when the blog started, we used to have this thing called the yearly coast. It was a blog established by a former Marine named Marcos Molitsas, and I'll probably interview Marcos Molitsas later on during this session. I interview him every year that I come out here. He founded it, and it took off on its own. People started blogging there, and it started hiring journalists, etc. For about 2 or 3 years, I was actually a paid contributed editor there. Since then I've done you guys know what I'm doing now with the journalism here. But every year we the yearly course have br branched into something known as the Netroots Nation, and that is a conglomeration of writers, bloggers, book write. I mean, all of these generally on the progressive space. And by the way, if you guys want to see what it looks like, go to dailycoast.com. Is actually the starting blog site that's still going strong right now. And we meet every year and have this big conference where politicians from all over the country come and activists come, and we have in this case, I think we're having over 150 breakout sessions where strategies are established and people come up with ideas. I think one of the areas that uh, these what is it called, basic income and all of that, a lot of it was promoted right here at this conference. Had a lot of, not the genesis, but a lot of it was done here. This year we're going to have Beto O'Rourke from as one of the stars, because again of what's happening in Texas, but we're going to have a whole lot more of our politicians and activists out there, and we'll be out there talking to them and eventually bringing them to you as well. Well, the first day here was pretty much a day of putting things together, and my volunteering task here was to get the radio row. We're all the radio personalities, the TV, and all these guys. There's a section that we kind of put them all so that folks can do their interviews. Well, I volunteered to put up the internet. In other words, after the convention center lays the main units, set up all those stations. I've got over 18,000 steps yesterday. I think that was one of the most steps I've gotten in one day in a long time. But I'm tired as hell, but it was fun doing it all. I think we have probably 20 something news organizations that are going to be here, including some of the big ones, and we're getting the job done. All right, for the folks on Substack, remember I missed the first few, but Skip, Diger, Dale, Carlos Dean, Beth Carter, Jennifer Hunter, Thinker, Cheryl Ellis, welcome aboard. Nice to have you here. And on our other side in the chat, we've got in the house, bear with me. I don't think I turned the chat on. Yeah, I got it on now. Joe from Los Angeles, California. Lisa Blair from Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you for being here as we move on to the subject at hand. Anyhow, I want to start where Jack started, and that is that you are running. First of all, I've always said that I have faith in the American folk. Okay, I have faith. We have done a lot of things, not so good things, bad things, all of that. But ultimately, I remember Barack used to say, and actually I think it started with Martin Luther King, that the arc bends towards, being better, being better. And the truth of the matter is most people are good. Every time I say that, I get eyes rolling, and people start telling me about the law of the jungle and all of that. But society came out of something. Society came out of people, just that word, right? Ultimately bending towards good. And it's the one thing that I think that keeps me going. I mean, if I didn't think people were good, I would stop doing this stuff long time ago. But yes, the arc bends to doing the right thing. And yes, please don't let anybody else fool you. People are basically good. And there are times that we lapse, and to lapse, you have to be ill-informed, misinformed, disinformed. And notice I use all the form of not correct information. And you have to work on some of the natural carnalities that we have. Always be ready to run in case harm is about to happen to you. Be ready to run, guys. Be ready to run. And that is where we're at today. We have a whole bunch of plutocrats that have no right to exist as billionaires and extraordinarily large multimillionaires. And we have a population that has been for the last several decades, up until Reagan, getting smarter and asking questions. Why? Why do we support all of these folks while we are the ones doing the work? And to get your minds off of that, we have to go on to immigration. We have to go on to all these issues that keep our eyes off the ball. And I think I've repeated that ad nauseum. Now we have, as Jack was pointed out from that article, that we can't find enough people who want to do wrong. We can't find enough people who want to harm their fellow man. So we're talking about a father-son bonding for the whole level. This is the article. That's how the U.S. Department of Homeland Security on Wednesday told social media users that it is lifting age limits for immigration and custom enforcement applicants. Evidence, critics said, of the Trump administration's desperation to fill the ranks of federal agencies tasked with carrying out its cruel and illegal anti immigrant policies. Think about that. We're taking father son bonding to a whole new level. We can kill together, we can harm others together. Hey, father son. Huh, I wonder how come they didn't put mother daughter or father daughter or mother son. Hmm. You see, patriarchy raising its big head again, creating that super uh, that super hunter male. In a move reminiscent of how the U.S. military attempted to stem flagging enlistment during the George W. Bush administration's so-called war on terror by lowering recruitment standards to welcome felons, gang members, white supremacists, and high school dropouts, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem announced Wednesday that we are ending the age cap for ICE law enforcement. So, Grandpa, hey, Grandpa, let's go together. Let's bond together and beat up those brown people, Dad. You know they are the problem that you can't get Social Security at the rate you want. You know they are the problems, Dad, that your SNAP is going to get cut, Dad. That's the problem. That you worked all your life, Dad, and you only have scraps to eat, even having worked a full life. Approved applicants will be joining an agency rife with human rights and legal abuses as it scrambles to satisfy alleged ICE rest quotas. You know, you should have a quota when you're talking about arresting human beings, right? A quota says you have to if you don't find enough people, you have to manufacture reasons for holding them. And that is where we're at. When you have cops in a city told that they have to write X amount of tickets, X amount of that, that moves it from law enforcement to revenue generation and illegal tax. In the case of when you have these counties that are sending out their sheriffs and saying, or their constables and saying, you have a quota to meet, that is saying that you have revenue to generate illegally from people. Same here. When you want to have 3,000 to 7,000 arrests a day of undocumented workers, it means that you need to keep those beds filled in your friends who have built those private prisons, those private holding tanks. You know, that is what it's all about. Norm told Fox and Friends that in addition to lifting the 40-year-old cap, ICE applicants can now be as young as 18. A teenager with an AR-17, well, we don't, it's not an AR-17 they're using, but a teenager with a long rifle and all that gear. You know how that gonna make him feel that macho, right? And the first chance he gets to use it to show his macho, we have that brown guy saying, I am an American citizen, I'm an American citizen. No, you're not. Bam. And then the law protects him. Well, the brown boy got aggressive. He got aggressive, so he deserves his death. Author Patrick S. Tomlinson wrote on X that ICE opening up recruiting to teenagers because they can't find enough adults willing to be their racist stormtroopers is some real dystopian dirty word. Yeah, this is some. You know, remember what we said. These things come on slowly, slowly. They keep testing how much you will take. They're testing us, America. They want to see how much evil we are willing to tolerate. Because evil funds them. Evil funds them. The evil of putting away the undocumented worker in a concentration camp that is run by my private sector friends, making billions of dollars. Remember, ICE's budget eclipsed the budget of all but two military budgets of nations in the world. They've got to find a way to after they have to get that money into the coffers of the American into these plutocrats and these oligarchs and these wealthy people hands. And how do you do it? You have to have more people in those beds. You have more people in those beds, that plutocrat gets a cut of every person that's in that bed. It's all about money. But in order to get those people, you have to do evil things. That's what they want your teenage son to do now. That is what they want your teenage son to do. Out here at Netroots, we're going to have a few panels on where we do, how do we mitigate this? How do we talk to people about this is what's happening as they slow walk us into this direction? As they slow walk us into this direction. But anyhow, let's go to before I continue. Johnny's on the line. Come on in, Johnny.
There was once a time long ago when someone would say the word immigration, and what came to my mind that time long ago was the next word, integration. So my mind linked immigrants with integrating. But now, with Republicans on steroids, specifically under Donald Trump's so-called administration, we've replaced that notion in my head with separation, isolation, retaliation, stuff like that. And it's sad. And let me give you an example of how this is playing out. Kristi Noem, who was confirmed in a Senate vote of 59 senators confirmed her as head of Homeland Security, right? Now, I don't know off the top of
Yep.
my head how that breaks down with Republicans and Democrats. I'm pretty sure it was a one-party vote. 59,
Hmm.
59 people in the Senate said, yeah, she's okay. But what kind of due diligence did these people do? Because when I saw Kristi Noem down in Nicaragua with Donald Trump and his party in that prison getting a tour, and I looked at her body language and I saw the way she was responding, I knew right away. I said, holy crap, this woman doesn't understand what's going on. She doesn't know. She is ignorant. And then that suspicion was confirmed yesterday on the news when I saw footage of her. I guess it was footage from her confirmation hearings when someone was asking her, tell me what it is that habeas corpus is. And she said, oh, I know what that is. And then the person says, well, tell me. And she says, oh, that's the president's right to detain, arrest, or whatever. And I couldn't believe I was hearing this. And the woman calmly corrected her. And she was trying to talk back over her. But the other woman corrected her and then Kristi Noem finally shut up and she got schooled a little bit. And she had to be told that habeas corpus falls under the system of rights we have of due process. It has to do with the government's responsibility to show what evidence a person has in the charges against them, and for someone else, a third party, to inspect the place where they're at and verify that they're there and establish their identity. So somebody knows who you are and that you're being detained. That's basically a habeas corpus. And she, as head of Homeland Security, didn't know this. We are in serious trouble when the Senate doesn't do its job. And might
And
does not make right. It only determines who's in charge. I hate that.
let me tell you what you're right. Let me tell you what Kennedy said. I mean, not Kennedy. That's my next subject. What concerns me the most, if you take a look at um, Democrats in the Senate. Look, I understand that the Republicans are sycophants. I don't expect anything out of Republican sycophants. I'm not talking about my Republicans, brothers and sisters. I'm talking about my Republican sycophantic politicians. I expect nothing out of them. But there's nothing that we know now about Christine Nome that we didn't know at the time several Democrats voted to approve her. Let's get that clear here. And I want to see an opposition party that fights for real. I want to look. When it comes to Republicans, you don't see them. You don't see them trying to make nice about things that they think are wrong. They don't try to make nice. Democrats go wholeheartedly so they can use the word bipartisan. I believe in treating and speaking to everybody and talking to everybody, but I do not believe in bipartisanship for the sake of bipartisanship, of saying two sides came to this. I am not going to be bipartisan about you killing another American, or killing another person. Period. I am not going to be bipartisan of you being taking away a woman's right. There's no bipartisan there. There's no compromise there. There's not a compromise there. And I think when Americans start to see, right now, Democrats' position is in the stumpers. When they start to see somebody that is willing to fight for them and not make these false compromises, we'll get somewhere. Anything else, Johnny?
Yeah, and when we tell the Republicans it's about, and I'm talking about politicians now too, unless I specify otherwise, when we tell these Republicans habeas corpus is producing the body, I mean a live body preferably, and not in a prison in another country, damn it.
Thank you, buddy. All right, let's go to Patrick. Patrick, come on in.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, my brother. Talk to me.
Have you had a muffalata yet?
No, I have not. No, sir. Talk to
You,
me.
you can't go to New Orleans without having one. You got to have one. But
And you
I
know,
called about
tonight I'm
two
going to
new
try to
subjects.
go my beignet.
All right. I called about two short subjects. One, we spent a lot of money in the space program to put satellites up into orbit to collect data to make our lives better, to predict
Hmm.
things, and to do experimental studies. We have two really good satellites that collect a whole bunch of different data, working perfectly well. They were very, very expensive, and they're going to be expensive to get rid of. But we are getting rid of them. NASA was told by Trump to scuttle two satellites, crash them into the atmosphere. And the reasoning is because they monitor greenhouse gases.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me tell you what I read and I reported a few weeks ago. He stopped. Donald Trump stopped sending the data out from these satellites. There are two of them. He stopped all research universities, everybody could get data from these two satellites. Are you actually saying now that it's not only that he's cutting off access to the data, but you found out that he's gonna retire the satellites into to burn up into the atmosphere? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. They have a lot of life left, and he gave that. The article is 2 days old. I sent it to your phone. But yeah, he gave
Okay, I'll read.
NASA
I'll
to
look for
destroy
it.
the satellite.
Oh my
Now,
God,
moving on to
that
the next subject. Yeah,
wait, hold on a second, Patrick. I don't. Hold on a second.
what people.
Don't. Not next subject yet. I'm going to read that article that you sent me, but I want folks to understand. w- I am shocked. Okay, I am shocked. You have satellites out there collecting this data, and the president wants important data, and he wants to shock. This makes the know nothings look like. You remember the know nothing party? This makes it look like
Yeah,
I can't believe this. I really cannot believe this, and it should be illegal for one president to be able to put our research somehow out of commission. I am sorry. I got this should be a huge story.
yeah. How is that not
Continue.
vandalism and terrorism? If one president is going
Yeah,
to destroy another's contributions.
we got to make this a big story. That has got to be a big story. Okay, what's the other subject, Patrick?
2 days ago, we talked about vouchers and charter schools versus public schools. And
Yes.
you made a concession with one of the callers, but what the caller did was he changed the subject from charter schools and public schools to just traditional private schools and public schools when
Right.
he brought in data saying that the ACT and SAT scores were better at private schools. And you did indicate that you understood what he was doing, but I don't think it was clear to the audience. And what I did was I did some further research, and Stanford University has an organization called Quido, and they gather all the data on these schools, and they say charter schools are a resounding failure. So did a magazine in New York, and you can find some favorable writing on charter schools, but then if you chase them down, they're all conservative papers.
Right, think tanks. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm glad you kind of highlighted that and kind of make it more evident because I think if what I told him is, yeah, I concede that if you look at private schools, the SAT scores will be better, but and that follows the numbers, right, Patrick? Think about it. Who originally will be people going to charter schools? Wealthy people who have access to tutors, who have access to practice exams, all that kind of stuff is there. But what I went ahead and did is, and so when I looked that up, I was immediately ready to say, I didn't quite realize that. So maybe I had something wrong. Then I went ahead and said, charter schools voucherized. And the reason you want to, again, statistics, you can almost always get to say anything. But if you want real information that you can do something with, that tells you the condition that we're talking about, then you have to do what you did there. Then you have to do what I did with talking about let's classify the private schools. And the private schools that are extended to poor people, the private schools that are extended through voucher, no, they do worse they do much worse, in fact, than the public sector, the public schools. Anything else,
Yes,
Patrick?
sir. You nailed that. Yeah, I was going to say you nailed the expensive private schools like St. Thomas, places like that, Strake. They sell their programs. They sell their schools based on their SAT and ACT results, and they start
Mm-hmm.
the freshman and sophomore year teaching them not the information that they'll be quizzed on, but the strategy on how to take those courses. And you're not going to get that in public schools,
Exactly.
so that's not going to be an even or a good comparison. That's all.
Right. And that is great. Thank you for that, Patrick. Anything else? Have a wonderful day, my friend.
You too. Enjoy New Orleans.
All right, take care. All right, let's go to Tag. Come on in, Tag. How you doing, my dear brother? And by the way, folks,
Good.
the
I
telephone number is
hope
713-526-5738. 713-526-5738. Continue, Tag.
hope you're enjoying New Orleans.
Well, I haven't. I'm hoping on Saturday night after it closes that I'll be able to do something. But I tell you, I've been at that convention center the whole time, and I got in last night and had to prepare some articles. So right now, not yet, but I hope on Saturday. Anyway, talk to me, brother.
Well, you're talking about the ice factor, and for me, I can see that ice is just a precursor to being able to control elections, where they can take these people and use them to circumvent elections when they don't go their way. And I don't think that people can really understand that. This is just kind of the opening scenario for control of our nation, that they can do this. So I think people need to look down the road a little bit further. It's a shame they're doing what they're doing to all our workers, or even the people who have got green cards and are here legally. But the fact is that they don't care about that. They just want to be able to control the masses, and they can do that when they train these guys to go out and do their bidding. And so that kind of was my thought this morning.
No, let me tell you. Right now we are in what's known as end stage capitalism. When you have some folks don't like when I make these comments, but let me tell you, I will back these comments up with fact-based information, okay? And stuff that when you hear, you'll say, "Oh, that's right, that's true." We're in end stage capitalism, and when this occurs, the only thing that's left is abuse, right? I mean, everybody has to be a rentier because there's not enough for ownership for everybody. Everybody becomes rentiers. And that is where we're heading. And to do that, you can't have an intelligent population. To do that, you have to find a way to have control. And that's what they're doing right now. That's what they're doing right now. Anyway, anything else before I go to Bruce, my
So,
brother?
yeah, a couple of things on the New Orleans list, Egberto. A lot of people don't get to Armstrong Park. That's really a cool place, and also the zoo is really a lot of fun. So go out and do some things while you're there.
Thank you, my brother. Armstrong Park is what you said it's called? Armstrong Park?
Yeah, Louis Armstrong Park. That's a really cool place, and it's kind of off the beaten path,
Okay.
but they put a lot of money into that at one time. And also the Audubon Zoo is really Audubon Zoo is just great. So, yep, go do those couple things
Thank you, my
while you're
brother.
there.
I know I won't get I know I probably won't get to either one, but thank you for the advice. You have a good one, my man. Let's go to Bruce. Before Bruce, though, I want to welcome Birdie Buff. The characters are small on the laptop that I'm using as the reference right now. Harry from Missouri City, Texas. Thanks for being here as well. And in the chat, we have a whole lot going on. Mary B says he wants the satellites destroyed. It's naive. You're absolutely so right. Yes, I have heard this in the news. Okay, we have got to stop. I wonder how many people will be able to those jobs with ICE for longer than a week. I don't know. We have to hope people are doing right. Okay, welcome aboard, Serlene McCarty as well. Thank you for being here. Okay, go ahead. Let's hear from Bruce. Come on in, Bruce.
Good morning. Good morning.
Bruce,
Good morning.
you're on.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I
Can you
can.
hear me? Yeah. One thing, two things. First, Dr. Peter Hotez here in Houston contradicted RFK Jr. on the Myrna vaccines. He said they saved 3.2 million lives that would have been lost without them. So RFK Jr. is full of baloney. The other point I want to make is, I got a tattoo on my upper arm that's covered by my sleeve, and it's two words, your name. And when I go into, I have a warp sense of humor. When I go into an H-E-B or a Walgreens and see a name tag, I'll tell the young lady, "Oh, wow, Lydia? Wow, I won't forget your name. But I have your name tattooed on my arm?" And they'll go, "What?" I say, "You want to see? You want to see your name?" "Yeah." And I pull it up, and we have a good laugh. Well, if I had the Epstein files, I would go through there somewhere in there. There's got to be a place where they said state your name. Your name has got to be in there somewhere. I'd circle it so I'd know where it's at. Anyhow, I'd go up to some rich and powerful people, and I'd have some fun. I'd tell them, your name is in the files. Anyway, I had a limerick I wrote. I'm not going to read it today, but next time I call in, I'll give it to you. So I'm done.
Thank you, my brother. You have a wonderful rest of your day, my friend. All right, let's go to John. John from Minneapolis. Come on in.
I wanted to say now we're institutionalizing, this hateful, brown shirt bureaucracy. And, once you do that, you create this center of power. I mean, what is it, $60 billion they're going to put behind that for a problem that really doesn't even exist. And it's all the extension of the hate, in the Republican Party, and the number one hater is Donald Trump. He took out a full-page ad in the New York Times against the Central Park Five, and they were absolutely innocent. I think a few of them went on to have careers in politics and whatnot. Yeah. I mean, it's very much like the Pastor Martin Niemöller poem. First they came for the communists, and I didn't speak up, and then it goes on, they came for this group. So people who have their head in the sand and think this isn't going to affect them, they're wrong. That's all I want to say.
Thank you very much, John. Have a wonderful day, my friend. All right, let's go to Coach AJ. Come on in, Coach. How you doing, my brother?
Hey, how you doing? It's on the radio now a little
I'm
bit.
doing fine. Talk to me.
So, white people are in trouble. Let me tell you why. You got about at least you got the fentanyl situation that's affecting white males in their prime. You got white women are the ones that have the most abortions because now they have their own money and their own mind, even though they're trying to, in Texas, keep that from happening. White people only have 1.7 babies, and you need at least two babies to keep your race going. Then when you talk about you got the LGBT community, and you have people on drugs and all these different things, their situation is decreasing. You got a madman and a non-leadership lying leader like Donald Trump, and you have Grand Wizard Governor Greg Abbott, who are perpetuating DEI based on race to change districts that are a minority. If that ain't racism at the highest degree, I don't know what is. Let me give you something quick about the Central Five. I used to live in New Jersey, and these two white thugs were hanging out in front of Trump Towers, and a white lady came out, and they grabbed her, took her purse and everything. This young African-American male was there. He fought them off, and guess who that lady was? Donald Trump's mother. I'm out.
Okay, I never heard that story, but let me just say this: when you fall for the trap of what race really means, you can get a Donald Trump. There are a lot of writings and a lot of books. I wish I haven't read them. I've read the synopsis of these books of when things like uh, white was created. White is a figment of an imagination to control. And you know what is interesting? White the creating a white terminology was actually done mostly to control white people. A lot of folks don't realize that. And yes, the people that suffered under the concept and the construct were the natives and blacks and everybody else. The ultimate folks that are going to be harmed are those who consider themselves white. One of the things that I try to preach, right, is, people think it's cliche when you say we're all one race and all of that. First of all, it's true. But secondly, our demise comes from a few people on the top maligning white people. And one of the things, if we can get that reality out, man, will we have a great country. Anyway, thank you for your call, Coach. Let's go to Donald. Come on in, brother Donald.
Hey, good morning. Okay, the
Good
headless
morning, sir. How
Asian,
you
or
doing?
Ichabod Crane, Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Ask him how his head feels, because they always use somebody else to fight their wars. And what I was going to ask
Oh,
you, if we're
wow.
putting, remember back 80,000 armed IRS agents a few years ago, and now we're getting all these ICE
Yes.
armed, I think they're more worried about social unrest because everybody's had enough of their hooey. And on the the next subject, you got the come and take it. I think they got a new flag. It's come and find me. So that's concerning the gerrymandering and the redistricting. So they need to fly their flag to come and find me. So that's all I got to
Hey,
say.
can I be your manager, man? That when you start doing your comedy show, brother? Can I be? Come on, make me.
But yeah, I think it's more about social unrest because both presidents, just 4 years apart, they're both arming some people, and they're all starting to. I think our government is fixing to be against us coming up here very quick, and I'm just kind of giving you a heads up because it seems like social unrest, when people don't have a pot to piss in, they get pretty aggravated. So that's it.
Did we bleep that one? I think we may have to bleep that one. Anyway, but let me tell you though, I don't go yet, Donald. Uh,
Okay.
that is that. Listen to this, Donald. Listen to this. That one phrase, when people don't have a pot to tick 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 in, that's another way of saying people have nothing to lose and they go at it. That is what we have to be concerned about. You nailed it. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, when you ain't got nothing, you ain't got nothing to lose. Talk to you later. Bye bye.
There you go. Take care, buddy. Let's go to brother Jimmy. How's my favorite Jimmy doing?
Good morning, Alberto. The other day I saw on TV a video of President Eisenhower talking about the cost of the military. He said, like, for
Oh
every
yeah.
B-29 bomber we buy, we could have built 2 high schools. For every battleship we pay for, we could have built 5 hospitals. For every destroyer ship we build, we could have sent 100 students to college. I hope you'll pull that up and put it on the air. It's really very impressive, and we want to try to stay out of these expensive wars and spending all this money on the military. And also, I want to say cheers to Representative Gene Wu and the Democrats in the Texas legislature for standing up against Governor Abbott's effort to gerrymander our elections.
Yeah,
They're
look,
doing a
I'm
good
with you,
job of
Jimmy.
that. Sorry.
Jimmy, I'm with you, and I love that part from Eisenhower's speech. And drop me a line and say, "Hey, Berta, remember to do this," because I really want. That was such a well-crafted speech when he talked about the defense industrial complex taking over, and it has withstood time. It has withstood time and again. Thank you for that, Jimmy. Anything else?
That's all, yeah. Like you said, our military budget's up to about $1 trillion a year now, which is pretty crazy. It's
Yeah,
more than the next 8
yeah.
nations combined. So we're way out of line on the money we spend on the military.
Thank you, brother. You have a wonderful rest of your day, okay?
Thank you, too, Roberto. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, brother. All right, folks, don't forget, we have a great guy coming into town on Saturday, El Señor Tom Hartman. So go check out Tom Hartman. Go to kpft.org, kpft.org. Get yourself some tickets and go check out my brother Tom Hartman. Tom is usually out here at Netroots. He told me he wasn't coming this year. He didn't come last year either. And we have some pictures that we did out here a few years ago. But here's the thing. Um, please go out and check him. If you're 100 miles within around Houston, it is worth going to check out my brother. I learned a lot, I can tell you, from Tom Hartman. This is a guy that does his homework. This is a guy that lives what he speaks. So please, if you go to our website, kpft.org, and check out Brother Tom. All right, let's go to Brian. Come on in, Brian.
Yes, it's me. Biden pardoned 4,200 people in 4 years. 4,200. Look up who he pardoned September 14th, 2023. Now, you can go to the Department of Pardon Office, Department of Justice, and you can find it out. Now, also, from January 19th, 2025, check out the names of the people he pardoned in the district that he pardoned them in, the sentence that he pardoned in, and the offense that he pardoned them in. It's Fauci. He wasn't convicted of a crime, but Biden pardoned him. He did that for Milley and also everyone on the board that tried to convict Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, of treason. The January 6th committee, he pardoned them.
Yeah.
And there was no crime committed.
Pardon. Those were
But he pardoned.
those were no. It's called a preemptive pardon, and I think he should, because when you have an evil person like your Führer out there, then I'm going to tell you something. You have to protect people, and that's what Biden did. Protected people from an evil Führer. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Why do you call him the Fuhrer?
Because he has
Did he kill 6 million people?
all of the character he has all the characteristics of the Führers, and that's why I call him the Führer. It's just a matter of looking at the data. He behaves like the Führer, and so he is the Führer. Anything else, sir?
Did he kill 6 million people? Did President Trump kill 6 million people? Yes
Well, I
or
tell you
no?
what, he's
Simple
on his
question.
way to doing it. He's on his way to doing it, because I tell you, you don't kill people with bullets only, or you don't kill people with gas chambers only. You kill people with policies, and the policies affected by Donald Trump, yes, he's killing a whole lot of people. So thank you. Anything else?
No, I'm not brainwashed.
Thank you. All right. All right. I guess I'm brainwashed. Anyway, folks, earlier, I think it was, I don't remember who it is that brought up the mRNA topic, but I want to let you know that, yes, I think it was yesterday, U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert Kennedy Jr. recently announced that his department would cancel nearly $500 million in funding for 22 mRNA vaccine development projects. Brian just asked me if Donald Trump has killed millions of people. USAID closed. The World Association, forgot the name of the group, have already computed how many hundreds of thousands of deaths that caused in that small amount of time. We have the Kennedy messing with our vaccine methodologies, research, etc. That will cause many unnecessary deaths. And we can go policy after policy after policy. These are policies that harm human beings. I want to do a one preemption now, because some of you are going to say, well, didn't Biden authorize dropping bombs on our Gaza brothers and sisters? Well, I mean, at least authorize supporting supporting a country that did those evil things. Yes. And do I absolve Biden of that? No. Do I absolve Obama of some of the missile attacks that kill civilians? No. But you don't look at all these things in a vacuum. You look at them on intent and more. And when you look at Donald Trump and his intent and his own wording, yes, Brian, I am sorry. I never thought of Bush 1, Bush 2, or Reagan as the type of evil that I deal with or assert for Donald Trump. This is a different kind of evil. This is a Gestapo type evil. This is an evil where we are seeing things on American streets we never see. Even when we had the KKK in existence, well, it's still in existence, but even when we had the KKK, at least it had a semblance of not having the law behind it. Notice I said the semblance because we know in many towns, and not only in the South, the KKK did in fact was sanctioned by not officially, but by law. We understand that. We're not naive. But what Donald Trump has done is he's made it modus operandi. He has made it that it's okay to go into communities, drag people down, and ask questions later. That's not a democracy. The stress that that puts on people. Do you feel the pain of your immigrant family? Do you feel my pain? I'm an original Panamanian, and I have to think twice now. I have to think twice about how I'm going to be perceived next to not just an ICE cop, but just a Houston cop, since it seemed like our mayor has no desire to clamp down on the animals in that group that are willing to arrest immigrants. So, do you want to know what it feels like when the rug is pulled from under you? When you're standing up on that solid ground, when you're concerned. I was going through when I was going through I not ice, screening for coming to the airport to get to New Orleans. And there's the technology there now. You give your credit card and you look into a camera and it does a facial analysis and all of that. I'm on videos all over the place. When are they going to unleash AI on my face or anybody's face and attach it to all the photos that they are out there and the actions that they are out there and tag it and then hassle you? That's the first thing that came to mind when I had to do the facial scan along with the credit the license. Yes, Brian, it is the Fuhrer. And yes, those are the times that we're in. Let me throw it to the studio.
Okay, I was sitting
All
here
right.
writing something, and it is this administration will isolate white America in their gated communities to keep them from seeing the cruelty inflicted on the black, brown, poor, old, and immigrant as they demonize them to keep the middle class sedated in misinformation and hatred and paying their increasing taxes. Period.
I love that. I like that. I like that. Yeah, and because I like that. Put it in and the thing about it is the gated communities are getting smaller and smaller, smaller and smaller. I'm talking about figuratively. Anyway, Mariana, algo más.
I was more just thinking that more than anything, we need like community because with all the
Yes.
separation, unless we start to like really build community and get to know one another better, it's just going to tear people apart because it's already doing it.
I love that. Community, build community with everybody. Folks, love you all. The rest of the program is at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. You can reach me directly at kpft at politicsdoneright.com. And let's end with Mariana's statement, which is so true. Let's build community. We are all one, folks. Remember that. My name is Egberto Willis. It's Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
It's time now for your good news for a good planet. Provisions for needy pets. In the spring of 2023, an 8th grade class in Taos, New Mexico went all out for their local animal shelter.